Drone delivery continues to make news in the restaurant and also the retail sector. We're going to dive in deep on this topic today. My name is Paul Barron. This is the Barron Report. Thanks for tuning in. And of course, as you guys know, we really drive in to some of the topics that are moving technology. And I think when you look at where tech is moving, whether it's consumer tech or it's the service tech that's going to essentially kind of replace how we do things in our everyday lives, drone technology is one of the top ones. So we thought we'd have Manna Drone Delivery on and Bobby Healy, who is the founder and CEO. Great to have you, Bobby.
Lovely to be here.
Excellent. Calling in from Ireland, I understand.
Indeed, yeah, sunny and rainy Ireland.
Well, listen, this is going to be a good topic. Let's learn a little bit about Manna and kind of what you guys are trying to do. What differentiates you from some of the other companies that have started to move into the delivery space?
Yeah, I mean, Manna is a 3-year-old startup. We're a VC-backed business of about 60 engineers spread between the UK and Ireland. And what differentiates us really is me and my founding team. We've built a lot of technology businesses before. Our last business was $1 billion plus business. So I think experienced management team is very key, technology management team. But also if you look at Manna and our strategy, we're very much differentiated now, not just our technology platform, but our strategy as well. Our plan is we're a pure B2B play. We're a pure delivery company serving the whole industry in a channel and partner agnostic way. So in other words, almost the arms dealer rather than the army. So we want to move everything from every vendor and retailer to everyone in the community. And it's about providing that layer, that substrate of really efficient robotic air-based infrastructure to enable local commerce. And so we're not a brand, we're not competing with brands, we're simply a tool that brands use to get to their customers.
Right. There's been a lot of different, kind of models that some drone companies are taking in terms of working with third-party delivery companies as kind of a supplement supplier. Then you've got companies who are going direct to the operators, the restaurant operators, retail operators themselves, and then kind of setting up an exchange or API connection almost to their e-commerce side of things, and then giving the consumer the option to opt in for drone delivery. What approach are you guys taking to kind of get into the marketplace?
Yeah, so we're a product first business, so we have hardware, software, and teams. So think of it as almost an airline operation, delivery company, and we integrate with our partners. So, for example, we signed a deal with Unilever for their ice cream, the Ben & Jerry's and so on brands. We have a deal with Samsung, with a number of very large restaurant partners, Coca-Cola more recently. And we're about getting their brand directly to their consumers, but we also partner with the aggregators. So we have a deal with Just Eat.
Right.
So if you think about it, we fly off the roof of our partners. So we're on the roof of Tesco, one of the larger grocery chains in Ireland and the UK. We fly off their roof, but anyone, either Tesco Direct can power that with their consumers and add drone delivery, but so too can Just Eat. So, for example, any digital customer relationship business that acquires customers online and that can transact online can use our platform. And it's the same drone delivery fleet for Just Eat as it is for one of our restaurant partners. Same fleet, same roof, different distribution channels. It's very, very different approach than that, as I'm aware, others are taking.
Right. Right. I like that kind of the derivatives that you're talking about in terms of being able to reach the market. Okay, so let's talk about how the markets might come about for you, whether it is food delivery, retail, grocery. Is there one particular sector that you're feeling more confident in of being able to service?
Yeah, well, we want to start with the highest volume, highest frequency, highest repeat rate, highest, not necessarily utility, but highest volume, because it's volume that powers the infrastructure. You need a certain amount of critical mass to power that. So we've chosen as our number one use case food delivery, and that's an obvious one. It's a $250 billion industry. Just if I take one small market, the UK alone is 850 million deliveries a year. So it's a volume play, and that powers the base infrastructure. And also, we also address critical problems for that industry, which is the perishability of the product
Right.
quality when it arrives, and also the low basket value. The low basket value, $15 to $20, poses a huge problem for road-based, human-based delivery, right? So you have a really nearly impossible problem to solve, where with an average basket value of $20 and a base cost of between $6 and $9 pure operating cost to bring the product to the customer, you have an almost impossible profitability equation to solve. And that's evident in DoorDash S1 or any of the big platform aggregators. They're single or negative digit unit economics. So we've chosen that space because it's gigantic. They have acute distribution or logistic problems, should I say, in the last mile, and therefore need us more than anyone needs us. But we're not stopping there. I mean, we see ourselves as, for example, the bookstore in the town of 10,000 people that we operate in. That bookstore, it's a mom and pop bookstore, but they now have a better product than Amazon have to their community of 10,000 customers, right? You can order a book online, transact online, and it'll arrive in about 4 minutes to your home. Now, it's going to be a while before Amazon disperse that remotely, right? So it's an interesting one. But so we think that non-perishable products, we think that consumer goods, like our deal with Samsung, and we're delivering, phones directly from the Samsung online store, phones, chargers, batteries, so on to customers. So we don't think it stops at food. And we also think that by having other use cases, be it pharmacy, and by the way, we're delivering prescription medicine in Ireland by drone. So think about pharmacy, think about, high volume grocery, convenience store, all those things. They flatten out the utility curve or the utilization curve of an aircraft. So where you have 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. busy hours, especially Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we think we can get a 12 to 14 hour utility out of the aircraft by serving other segments. So we're starting, but not necessarily exclusively with food, and we'll grow into pretty much everything that can be carried. We'll carry it.
Now, we've seen the cost of this kind of delivery come down considerable compared to what you were talking about in the regular, vehicle structure that you're dealing with, whether it's Uber Eats or a Postmates or et cetera, which is driver dependent and also not line of sight. So that's another factor, because you can extend your radius of where you can deliver to, which really enhances the ability for that to kind of explode into some bigger markets, whether it's suburban markets, things of that nature. What areas are you guys planning to go into? Is it mostly in Europe, or do you plan to jump the pond here and come into the US?
Yeah, no, we're 100% focused on the US, and that's our biggest target market. And if it wasn't for the regulatory kind of stagnation in the US, we'd already be there. So for us, we have a European-wide license now, so we're going to scale across Europe first, and quite frankly, we'll scale into any market that the regulatory picture is clear and the regulatory timeline is clear. We do think that the USA will become clear soon, but we don't know exactly when. Whereas in Europe, we expect to be full throttle up in Europe 23 onwards and scaling across Europe. There's 500 million people here, and it's a more fragmented market than obviously the USA. So, so our plan is across 20, the rest of 21 and 22, we'll scale only across Ireland and part of the UK, with one eye on the USA for 22, 23 onwards.
I like that. Has there been one particular area in Europe that has shown adaptability to this kind of delivery model versus traditional? That, because sometimes I think people might, they're a little reluctant to change in general. Yeah. Is it UK, Germany, Italy? Where are you seeing potential opportunities there in terms of the case studies from consumers?
I mean, I think it's the separation initially is demographics, right? So it's young people first, right? And young people anywhere in Europe want drone delivery. They're begging for drone delivery. Everyone, below the age of 50 wants to try out drone delivery. So there isn't cultural thing there. but there certainly is a reticence from a good chunk of the community that don't understand what we're doing. So even here in our home turf, prior to COVID, we had about a 65% positive rating. You'd survey consumers, and about 65% of them would say, yes, I will want and pay for drone delivery. And about 25% sitting on the fence, and then, 5 to 10% big question mark. Now we're at over 98% positive rate, even the place where we haven't done. So 98.5% out of surveys in excess of 1,000 respondents. So we know, and this echoes Wing Aviation Alphabet's drone delivery program had a 90+% positive rating as well. So there's no question that we have a product that, while yes, there's pockets of, I would call, unfounded uncertainty or unfounded fear around what we do, when we roll out, and even before that, but certainly when we roll out, we found that in this town of 10,000 plus people, they absolutely love it. We're now delivering, and we've hit 35% of the homes already with deliveries, 75% of whom are repeat deliveries. We have cohorts of users that are on their 50th plus delivery. So these are, already, I would say in the 90th percentile of strong positive signals that we will be well accepted in communities, and that there's a viral component to it where once you're in a market and you're even close to one town, the next town are literally begging you to bring the service there. It's almost like broadband before you had broadband. This is
right.
really something that consumers love. There is, of course, a novelty to it at the start. Everyone wants their first delivery, but it does quickly become, I won't say boring, it becomes normal for a community quite quickly. And so I was always quite confident, but now we also have the data to back up that confidence that says it will be very well accepted.
Yeah. Tell me about the technology, because we've seen some pretty advanced drone technology here in the US with a few companies that have started to roll out here. What is it that you guys are finding that is really moving the needle on being able for drones to truly take over, as whether they're autonomous, they have the capacity of the winch kind of system, geolocation to where they kind of follow your phone around? Where are you seeing the tech advance in the drone delivery business?
Literally the only important thing in this industry, because drones are a commodity. A drone is a bit of hardware. It's not rocket science to build a drone or to make a drone, do clever things. Really, it's not rocket science. And ultimately, it's not a big enough, defensibility or moat to say that your drone looks more beautiful or can travel, at this speed or that speed. Actually, the important thing is safety. And there is no way to scale in this industry if you don't have aviation levels of safety and engineering in your aircraft. And that is where we're different. And I would say there's only two companies in the world, us and Wing, that have any notion of what safety means at scale. So we're going to be flying at scale 10 million plus flights a day. And so therefore the law of large numbers dictates that you don't need a drone or something that takes you a year to build. You need something that takes you generations of education from aviation best practice to engineer. And that actually is what makes the difference, because when you're flying over a community, a suburb of 50,000 people, whatever, you need to be pretty sure that there's no possibility of a failure. And that's what makes us different. And so the aviation authorities in Europe have looked at us. They've looked at our company. They've looked at our aircraft, and they've decided, and we agree with that we are safe to operate, and that's what makes us different.
Yeah, I like that, and I think this is going to be especially because as flights increase in terms of volume, there's going to be some accidents out there, and I think the companies that kind of emerge as the ones who can be depended upon being safe and consistent and, also to a certain extent, somewhat affordable they're going to be the ones that definitely win out. Let's talk about the unit economics for this. For a restaurant operator, if it's going through a third-party aggregator, are you finding aggregators picking up the fees because of the cost savings for them? Or are they passing those fees on to the restaurant operators? How's the model working for what you're seeing, at least in the business?
Yeah, the nice thing about our model is that essentially, if you look at the existing unit economics layer and you take a DoorDash, their unit economics or any of the aggregators for that matter,
Right.
the only difference we introduce is we remove the person from the delivery cycle, right? So, whereas
Right.
today, one person can do anywhere from 2 to 3.5 deliveries per hour, and a little bit less in suburbs, but say 2 to 3 deliveries per hour. Whereas with our system, we can do about 20 deliveries per hour per person. That's a
Mm.
simple economic figure.
Yeah.
So it's an order of magnitude cheaper per delivery. So
Right.
that goes through the whole way, right? So now think of us as a delivery driver that can, fly at the speed of light almost. So those economics you get shared between us and our platform partners. They get passed through to the restaurant partners, and ultimately the whole unit economics equation works finally for this space. And the only loser in this is the guy in the bicycle, the guy in the motorbike, or the guy in the
Right.
car. That's a low paid gig economy job anyway. And what we're doing is we're creating jobs for well trained employees of a drone delivery company that are just an order of magnitude more efficient.
Right. Bobby, talk to me about how you guys pilot these things. Are they on autonomy setups? Do you guys have like a command and control center where you've got all kind of tethers to all of the units in the air? How do you guys work?
Yeah, that's it. So the aircraft's fully autonomous. It has on board 3 flight computers, and each flight computer can independently fly the aircraft. It has 3 sets of sensors, so GPS, LiDAR, radar, everything is in triple. And that's obviously got connectivity then to our cloud. As the aircraft flies, so therefore we have a command center, as you said. We monitor the aircraft, those aircraft coordinate with each other, all via streaming LTE connectivity.
Hmm.
And so there is no really the exercise of operating one of these aircraft involves loaders. They'll take the bag of food from the restaurant, they'll put it in
Right.
the aircraft, they'll hit the button and stand back. That's kind of the job at the restaurant. And then when the aircraft's in the air, then centrally we monitor that with a pretty simple mission command, and
Yeah.
one person is responsible for between 15 to 20 aircraft at a time.
Yeah. I think okay, so cost is down. You're expanding the delivery zones. You're reducing potentially hazards because if you think about safety numbers in automobile accidents, things of that nature, you increase the capacity for delivery volume. All of those are in the positive side. When you look at all of this coming to play, I would just feel like this is a slam dunk in that how long is it before we see this at scale? I mean, really at
Yeah,
scale, not in just a few spots.
I think it's ubiquitous in about 5 years' time. It's certainly in
Five
Europe.
years.
In Europe, it's going to be ubiquitous. And
Hmm.
USA, you'd have to think the same because if you
Yeah.
look at our timeline, we'll have Ireland fully implemented next year, right? So we'll be delivering to about 1 million people towards the end of next year in Ireland. We'll scale that model out from 23 onwards across Europe, and
Hmm.
we may go parallel or we may go for just a UK market, whatever, right? But it'll be ubiquitous in certain markets in Europe in the next 3 years. I'm very confident of that. And then the USA, if you think about it, even though they're behind on regulatory timelines or they're uncertain, doesn't really matter because once you've fired a starting gun,
Hmm.
companies like Manna, certainly, we're ready to roll out in the USA. There won't be a ramp up. It'll literally be someone fires a starting gun at government or at FAA level, and the capital is going to flow in, and we're going to be going as fast as we can to every suburb. The 82 million single detached family homes in the United States, we want to be there in 24 months.
Yeah. Yeah. So you feel like it's just a regulatory scenario, hurdles that we've got to go through, kind of that learning phase, get enough flights, in the can to kind of really get some data back to the regulatory authorities to where we can get this really at scale. 5 years, you feel like U.S., Europe, probably the two leading markets. Most likely, China's already doing quite a bit of this. I know we covered
Yeah.
quite a few of the drone companies in China here recently on another one of our shows, and I was surprised at how many deliveries they have been making. So It
Yeah,
seems what,
thing with China is that many of the population, the affluent part of the population, are in very dense areas, very tall skyscrapers that don't lend themselves well to drone delivery. So,
right,
if you look at potential penetration rates and pace of rollout, you look for the United States and certain parts of Europe, Middle East, even
land.
Yeah, but China though will, I mean, they're already going at full speed, and the regulator there works with international regulation. So 100% they're going to go, and they have the tech companies there to do it as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, but so we don't see China as a market for us. It's a closed market for companies like us. So we don't look at it as an opportunity, but we certainly look at every other country in the world as an opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. Bobby Healy, great to have you on with, of course, Manna Drones. Great to have you guys. I can't wait to see some of this hit the U.S. here, so it's going to be fun to watch. Thanks for stopping in today.
Pleasure.
Excellent. All right, so you guys are tuned in over on the podcast. Make sure and subscribe right now. Maybe you ran across this on Spotify, thumbing through podcasts and go, wait a minute, this is a good tech show. I like this. That's exactly what we try to do here. So subscribe, give us a rating, or follow us on Spotify there. And if you're over on YouTube right now, make sure and subscribe to the channel, because that's one of the best ways you can help the channel out, and also the best way to get more content on these kinds of topics that are really kind of changing the evolution of where technology is going and the consumer interface that's really kind of becoming our new society and how we're moving forward. So make sure and stay tuned right here. If you have a show idea, make sure and send that to producer@revernetworks.com. You can always hit me up on Twitter @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on The Barron Report.